Hey, what's up, CAUSENETIC family?
Welcome to the CAUSENETIC podcast.
Powered by the YMCA of Metropolitan Dallas.
CAUSENETIC means being a person or thing that gives rise to a phenomenon that is dynamic or energizing.
Hey, we're tackling topics and telling the truth.
I'm Rodrigo Ross.
I'm Keith Benson.
So today our topic is start at the beginning.
Well, how else are you supposed to start if it's at the beginning? I mean, you can't start in the back.
How did I know you were going to go? You can't start at the end. Like, that is absolutely a thing. But
you only start at the beginning of something. I mean,
you don't. That's not accurate.
Okay. So you read a book backwards?
You can start from the back of the book. I don't know if I would advise that.
Well, there are some people that do that.
I mean, you could start with dessert and then eat your food later. Like, I mean, these things happen.
Not a very good example. Go ahead. So let's start at the beginning.
So we're starting at the beginning. Today, when we talk about starting at the beginning, we are talking about the impact that the YMCA has had on the history of this country by being the first to do some things. So, do you watch the History Channel?
Occasionally.
I love the History Channel, right? And so
you can identify with a lot of the history.
I knew you were going to go there. It wasn't funny when I thought you were going to do it, and it's not funny when you actually did it. It's just not funny. So, no, I love it because it gives you the behind-the-scenes story of some of the things that are just so common to you. You're like, oh, that's how that. Right. So they have this show on the History Channel called The Foods That Built America.
Love that show.
I love it. History Channel, if you all are listening, we accept sponsorship checks because that's an excellent show. So
give me the one on the Twinkies.
Did you see the one about like the Lay's potato chips?
I did see that one.
Right? Or chocolate, how chocolate got over here. And fast food restaurants like McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah. All of it is so fascinating and so amazing. Like, there are these really rich, robust stories behind how these things happen. Well, the YMCA, in some regards, in certain things that we do today, have that same place. Like, if it wasn't for the YMCA, we wouldn't be doing and experiencing, and certain things in this country wouldn't just be par for the course.
And many people, they know the Y, Young Men's Christian Association, but do not know that type of history. I mean, so my man George
And why don't we do a better job with like tutus?
That's on us,
that's
right?
On us, right?
We own that part right there. So maybe you take this thing. You think
we could charge for it? Does this fall in like this new name, image, likeness thing that NCAA had? Can we get a check? You think?
No comparison. But
okay. No, I tried it. I tried it.
Yeah. Let's start from the beginning.
So we're going to start from it.
Start from the beginning, okay? 1844. You remember that days, right?
You know what? You tried it again. That's two.
So people say, well, what about 1844? Because there's folks that's listening to the podcast here that, they may not know all the history of the Y. They may know some of it. But
right.
1844, if we go back to George Williams. Mm-hmm. So
that was your friend? Y'all used to hang out together? I tried it.
Yeah. So George Williams came together with 11 of his friends to organize what we know now as the YMCA, but back then, Young Men's Christian Association. Yep. And it was all about discipleship of men. So found some young boys on the streets, weren't doing the things that they should be doing. Sure. And so he wanted to bring them in to evangelize them. And so that's where we get our foundation from our Christian movement over time, that we still prop up in a great way our Christian principles and values that we have. And we know that now today as, like our values of care and honesty, respect, and responsibility. And so that's where our beginning. So that's what we're talking about. The beginning of all beginnings of the YMCA.
Sure.
And then if it wasn't for George doing that right there, this is a whole slew of things.
There's a what?
Whole slew.
A slew.
That would not take place today.
More than a lot or less than a lot?
A slew is more than a lot.
A slew is more than a lot. Okay. Yes. I had to get the measurements down. Okay then. All right.
And so, one of the stories I like to come back to is when we take a look at our African American YMCAs.
Okay.
Because my history right now with the Moreland Y, which folks in Dallas know that goes back to Jesse Moreland, who's one of the first secretaries of the Y. Yep. Right. So you got to take that history.
Overall, not just in Dallas.
Right.
Overall.
Right.
Sure.
And so Anthony Bournes, we'll take that back to Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And that Bowen YMCA, the Anthony Bowen YMCA, is still there. It is still very much a thriving YMCA.
Yes.
It just went through an amazing, incredible renovation under the leadership of Angie Reese Hawkins.
Angie Reese Hawkins is just like legacy in the Y.
Yeah, and that YMCA is still there.
She's one of the few people, like, when you get in her presence, I'm a little starstruck. And it's like,
standing out, kid?
When she called my name, like, yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I was gonna make fun of you, but that happened to me.
I know it did. Like, she knows my name.
Like, oh my God. Like, one time she rode in the car with me. I was on 10 and 2. I had to focus. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe Angie is in the car with me.
Right.
In my car.
Right.
And I washed my car. I'm so excited today. Yes.
But we got to go back to that type of history, man.
Yes, Anthony Bowen started the first YMCA where African Americans could come into a YMCA right there in Washington, D.C. But a lot of people didn't know that. What are some of the other fun historical facts? Let's test your knowledge here. History test. Here we go.
Okay. So we just came off of the NBA draft. So all these young men and young women who are playing in the league now.
Professional basketball. Sure.
Like, they wouldn't be able to dribble that basketball and shoot it through that basket if it wasn't for the YMCA.
Good with a T. GOODT. Good checks.
Oh, them.
Without the YMCA.
I'm like, my man, I'm listening to some of these trades that's going on right now. Even just the small one.
Just a little insignificant.
3 years for $33 million.
Oh, that's it?
Can you sign me up for just 1 year? Just one year.
Sign me up for about 6 days.
Yeah, but that kind of money. You go back to 1891. That's when James Naismith, invented the game of basketball. It's like, come on now.
And look what the whole NBA and basketball is an Olympic sport. You have people whose generationally their livelihoods have changed. They have generational impact with their children and their grandchildren because of the resources that they were able to get from playing this sport. And it was just created as a way for young men at the time, back in the 1800s, to be active and to have fun.
Yep.
And look, I think the NBA owes us a regular residual check. I really feel like, who out there know? Wait a minute. Doesn't Ernest Lamore know, like, the coach of the Warriors? Can he get us to somebody, please?
Come on, Ernie. Help us out.
Ernie, help us out. We need to talk to somebody in the NBA.
Somebody. Help us out.
Because we need a check.
Because, like, the YMCA basketball is a thing. I mean, we're referenced in, sitcoms. We're referenced on sports talk. Like, going to a downtown YMCA to play basketball, that is like a real thing. You can't be a scrub.
Nah, that's not the place for you.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so basketball.
All right, but then we stand with the concept of balls, right?
Okay.
Volleyball also.
You know what? I didn't learn that until recently here a couple of years ago. Like, I knew a long time ago that we had invented basketball, but volleyball got by me.
Yeah, 1895 it came about.
And
William Morgan.
That sport, especially now, like, I'm seeing more and more young people who are going off to college on these full ride volleyball and this club volleyball. Like, it is really experiencing this resurgence. And who do we contact for our check from them?
I don't know. But William Moore, because he thought the basketballs are just a little too strenuous for the businessmen. So that's why he was like, well, let's hit the ball.
A little more sophisticated.
And when we talk about volleyball now, you talk about, our concept is inside the gym, going back and forth. But now volleyball has just grown crazy where young people
Olympic
are playing.
sport.
I mean, they're building gyms now, not only just for basketball, but for volleyball on top of that. You got gyms that's, 10, 12 gyms in
what about
one
beach
facility.
Volleyball?
Exactly.
I don't want to do that, though.
Okay.
And I'm tall. People ask me all the time, do I either play volleyball or basketball? The answer is no. Nope.
Yeah, no. So why are you tall?
Because
I tell you what, you're tall because you're two of your kids.
Right. Come on, tell the truth. Right? Yes.
You ain't have to pay a dime.
Not a dime.
Great contribution.
There you go.
Great contribution right there.
Because I didn't play basketball or volleyball. I didn't want to break a nail. So.
Okay. Oh, Lord. But then let's go to Greenwich YMCA.
Okay.
In 1950.
Okay.
So we're going to stay with this concept of balls, right? So racquetball. YMCA created racquetball.
Did I know that?
Nah, so that's one of them hidden ones in there. My man
That
Joe,
is definitely hidden.
Yeah. Joe Sobek, he was a member. He just couldn't find any squash players. So, he created his own thing.
Did I know that? Like I'm having a whole moment right now.
I know.
And I worked for the Y for years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I know that.
1, 2, 3, 7.
Hey, you over here doing math, trying to carry the one. Nobody asked you to do all that. Nobody.
I mean, but we take all this stuff back. You go to aquatics, weightlifting, fitness classes.
The first group swim lessons were created at a YMCA.
Come on.
And the first certifications to teach people how to teach swim lessons and lifeguard and all that was created at a YMCA.
I bet you if you ask 10 people who have taken swim lessons, I bet you at least 6 or 7 out of the 10 probably learned at the YMCA.
Took the swim lessons at a YMCA.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm still this. You think we invented pickleball? Can I claim pickleball?
We have to brush up on the research on that one. I don't know about that.
It's probably a no, but I want to know who I contact there for a check. Because
pickleball it's a thing.
Who do we contact in the aquatic space? I feel like these people owe us money.
Somebody might need to give us a little something.
Some money. Like somebody put a group together, an ad hoc committee. And let's figure out how do we get our money.
Come on. Pay up. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah, and it was even when we look at the Red Cross, and they do a lot of life saving instruction, right? That was even influenced by the YMCA. So somebody who was a board member at the time, encouraged the Red Cross to be able to do that right there.
Wow.
So I mean, the influence of a lot of major things that take place in our society today, was the influence of the YMCA.
So, bet you didn't know. The Boy Scouts started at a YMCA.
Come on now.
The very first troops that got together, their very first meetings were at their local YMCAs. And so even the offshoot of other nonprofits, it's the same thing with the YWCA and the Girl Scouts, right? Like there are other nonprofits doing incredible work nationwide that also found its roots at YMCAs. It's amazing.
The YMCA is just really an impactful organization.
And we need to figure out how to talk about that, how to celebrate that, in a way that doesn't seem kind of braggadocious, right? Because who wants to hear that? But in a way that's like, no, this is our commitment to communities. This is what we do. This is how the Y has been able to show up and change things, right? And perhaps it'll be like a reminder to us who are still in the movement and those who volunteer to help us in the movement that we have a responsibility to continue to work in that vein, right? Like we gotta keep with the groundbreaking, earth-shattering, change history, trajectory of lives kinds of stuff, if that's a thing.
My hope is that this will really, from an innovation standpoint, it's like, so yes, in the past, we did this and that. Like, what now can we do? So are we keeping up with the times in such a way to be able to see that change that's coming in the future? And that looks like in a lot of different spaces now.
And do something that is, I don't want to say reactive, but in service to, answers the call, complimentary. Am I on the right path? I don't know. Something
so you think about social justice now.
Okay.
Like the Y has always been in a space like that to be able to change that.
It absolutely has.
So when you think about in particular, what was called the colored Ys or the Negro Ys.
The band Ys.
Yeah. And so when you think about what they had to go through, I think about the Moreland Y.
Yep.
Like if you wanted to get the black vote in Dallas,
you had to go.
You had to come through
to the
Moreland YMCA.
Right. And we're not going to tell you who to vote for, but if you want to reach the people and tell them what you stand for, this is where you got to go.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, and even with programs like Achievers, right? Addressing the gap in the experiences that young people of color are having as they're trying to matriculate to college or certifications or some kind of education after high school. You know, the YMCAs have stepped in the gap, and there are so many people. Youth in government. There are so many people who are sitting in politics right now and affecting change locally and nationally who came through those YMCA programs.
Yeah, you say youth in government. That started back in 1936, and is a program that's still going strong.
Strong today.
And so we're talking about civic change. Our young people having a voice in the matter, and so that they can grow up to learn about how to do play in this
civic engagement.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
which if we had to be completely honest and transparent, the ability to be civically engaged was not a given for everyone, and so the fact that the YMCA can step into all kinds of communities with all different kinds of populations and demographics and dimensions of diversity and encourage and teach and give young people the ability in real time, in true form, to be involved and civically engaged, that's definitely a game changer. Because those young people are going to continue to do that. They're going to make informed decisions. They're going to run for office. They're going to engage and understand what their role in that process is in a much different way.
And they could even become a Nobel Peace.
A Nobel Peace Prize? Like who?
Yes.
Like who?
John Armont.
John Armont won the Nobel Peace Prize?
Nobel Peace Prize. Yep.
Oh,
so back in
I'm probably
back
gonna
in
win one too.
1946. Back in 1946. John Armont, he won Nobel Peace Prize.
What?
Right?
What did he win it for?
For his understanding for the efforts around humanitarian efforts.
Oh, his humanitarian efforts.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, what we're training up right now is that it could be, and we got to believe that as staff too, right? To be able to understand that the impact that we can make
when we're working
in the
with
lives
these
of the young people,
right?
Day in and day out,
right? That is so very true. That is so, like, there is someone that is working with a young person now in the YMCA that's gonna be like a next world leader. Like, imagine, because Martin Luther King used to go to the YMCA.
Hello.
Like, imagine the person that works with him. What if he was a rowdy kid? Like, who knows? Did he get in trouble?
Come on now.
Did they have to put him out the Y because he was in there you go home today and you come back tomorrow, Martin. Okay? Like, who knew he would have turned out to be the Martin Luther King Jr.?
But we got to think in the space of not just the history, right? But we got to think about the future. And so when we're creating and developing programs, we got to understand that, hey, that little kid that's a little loud in day camp right now, that's the change maker of the future right there.
Because the reality is, and I'm going to get deep and philosophical. Come on. Ready?
Come on.
Tomorrow's history is today.
Hello.
I mean, and so what is happening today? You may think, your history back in the day, but today is back in the day. Because
of the speed of life today, right now, I mean, you can't put that child a step behind. Come on.
Like, I mean, you could be you could have podcast co-hosts that you just think is your podcast co-host, and in the future, they're like world famous and they have really changed the world and really making contributions, and you just didn't even know. You just thought that you all were
well, I think I have a co-host that has a voice for our young people of the future.
I don't even believe you, and I'm saying right here what you mean you say it. I don't even believe you mean that.
The time that we have.
Whatever.
The time that we have, I think we have that voice. We have a platform to be able to use.
And so historically speaking, when we first started the podcast, which is history, because this is season 4 now. We've been doing this for 4 years.
That is
correct. When we
correct.
first started doing it, we really just were recording disagreements.
That is true.
We did not think that it would actually manifest itself in this and allow us to talk to literally world leaders. We've talked to people across continents, world leaders, different languages. We've amplified subjects. I know in our guest list there are some people, some history makers, some game changers, and we're gonna get to go back and be like, we talked to them on the podcast.
Oh, you know.
And we don't even want to get started about GA in a couple of weeks when we get to talk to more. So
it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
And I think that they're gonna put us in the YMCA archives. I mean, they should, because aren't we historical?
Ryan Bean is working with us right now to be able to put us in the archives.
Really? See, I was just throwing it out there, but
I'm just saying, we're
historical.
But it's history. Kevin Washington.
Sure.
Right. All right.
And he was just trying to do what he loved doing, and that was helping people and serving communities.
Our first African American CEO.
And history.
And then also Suzanne.
First woman.
Yeah.
She was just trying to do what she knew was right and what she loved to do, and that was serving people, and bam, making history.
So we're trying to make history, y'all. We're going to start at the beginning.
Start at the beginning. Understand the richness that the YMCA and its history has contributed to global, worldwide history, particularly, though, in the United States, and how you play into the continued evolution of that story and that history even today.
But before we sign off, we must give props to our producer, Miss Lachey Leonard.
Hello,
doing a fabulous job at making us sound good.
Yes. And thank you for listening to the CAUSENETIC podcast.
On this episode called Starting from the Beginning.
That was a good time.
That was good. I'm going to give you props on that right there.
You subscribe and listen to us weekly.
Hey, and don't be shy. Give us a 5-star review.
And as always,
be dynamic.
Be phenomenal.
And be CAUSENETIC.